And today in our studio, we have our guest, Col Sajan, who is an ex-army officer and post his 22 years of illustrious service in the army. He's got into the field of training and development and helping the students, and he's helped over 20,000 students across the globe in building their confidence and helping them choose their careers. So welcome, Colonel Sajan. Thank you for joining us today. And what should our audience look forward to today in the session?
Thank you so much, Col Riyaz, for inviting me over for this session. And I was just going through Unbox work, and in this field of youth empowerment, it is really good to hear about the work that you do, and what you said about prevention of suicide and the stress, etc. These are something which it's extremely important for today's youth. One of the things that causes stress to them is the lack of clarity in what they're doing, and also they want to do something. However, there is some kind of pressure within the society, pressure within the family, and all of this are going to cause immense pressure to the students, because after 10th standard the study is quite intense, the pressures are intense, the number of what should I say, the opportunities or the number of seats in good colleges are less. So intense competition. You know that the kind of stress that children have to go. If you have 99.9% and still you are fighting for a few seats in the Delhi University colleges, so that is the kind of stress which is going through. So it's correct. And if the child is aware of what is the kind of what should I say, the pathway, if it is clear. It's not that children are not clear. Children are clear, but they are not so sure whether that is the right path or not. Because I have come across many students who are cocksure about what they want to do, and later, once they go, in fact, the last 2 days I've been dealing with two such students who have left their engineering BTech first year. They joined last year, and then they left after 6 months and say that I can't do this. So that causes immense stress not only for the child but also for the parents, right? And especially when you do not have too much of money to spend, then that becomes even more important, because then the child is forced to do something which he is not liking, because he doesn't want to upset his parents, or he doesn't want to unnecessarily spend more money on his this thing. And what is going to go, it's going to go into a spiral and spiral and spiral. And this is the exact reason you must have seen number of cases who have gone into IIT, they're jumping from the top floors and ending their this thing, is because they are so brilliant, they have got into IIT, but that's what's suited for them. And that reminds me of one fantastic example which came to me about 2 years back now. So it was the month of May, and the father calls me up and says, I need a help from you. I said, yes, tell me about it. So he says that my child is in IIT Kanpur and he's in the final year. I said, Mubarak ho, abhi to within few months he'll get placed, so it's very good. So how can I help you? He says, uska career counseling karana hai. मैंने कहा मजाक मत करो, वो तो he is now in IIT, and he must have gone into IIT because he's brilliant. That is why. And why are you saying that he's not sure? So he says that no, when he was in 10th standard, he was very sure that he wants to go into IIT, and in that too in aeronautical engineering. And so I took him to Kota, we put him through the paces, and he was brilliant, so he passed it. And once he has passed it, he got aeronautical engineering. Matlab sapna pura ho gaya. So as a father, I was very, very happy and about it. But now in his 4th year, he comes to me and says, Papa, I have not even enjoyed even one day of engineering. अब क्या करोगे बताओ? He says, as a father now I'm very upset. कि अब क्या करूंगा? I don't want him to go and continue something which is not true. And when I did the career counseling, I realized this boy is brilliant, and that's why he has passed the IIT. But he was more suited for engineering, which is not outdoor oriented. So aeronautical, civil, and mechanical comes into the outdoor oriented engineering, whereas he is more suited for IT, but he didn't choose IT. So then when we did it, and we also found that he's very good in management. So we then diverted him towards the management side, that is project management. Within aeronautical engineering, he now goes into the project management side. So he has got the technical knowledge. Now he can use his managerial skills and do it. So I told him to prepare for it. So I'm just giving one example. So, so what your question as far as what parents can expect in today's session is that we give a fair bit of idea as to what are the things that that is available in this world today.
Great.
and how they need to look at their own children and what is ideally suited for them.
Yeah, very true. So we have a lot of people joining in from all over India. That's very interesting. We have SRK Raju, Babli Rathore, Bama, Saili from Pune, Bama, Manpreet Kaur, Sanjay, Kushwa from Delhi, Manpreet from Secunderabad, Jessica from Hyderabad, Abhi from Bihar, Deepansh from Meerut, and Nishat from Ambala. That's very, very interesting. So let's start from the very, very interesting question, that is, there's a lot of confusion between what is career guidance and what is career counseling. So can you just spotlight the difference between this so that we can be clear when we use these terms, guidance and counseling?
Yeah, many of the schools, in fact, they use it together, career guidance and counseling session. In fact, I get a lot of requests saying that ki aap aake hamara career counseling session karao, and I say I can't do counseling session, and they say why. I said that what you're asking is career guidance session, because career guidance is what I do generally. Like for example, uh, two days back, I was doing for about 60-70 students in Jodhpur, Nasirabad area, and last week I was doing for the first year students of Christ University, and before that about 350 students in Batinda, and almost every week we keep doing that. And that is what we do is career guidance session. This is today what we are having a chat today. I can say in a loose way that it is also career guidance only, right? So because we are talking about all the options that are available in this world, right? We are not speaking about any specific child. The general information that is we are trying to give to the students and parents as to what is available in this world, that is career guidance, or shall I call it talking about the world of work. जितने भी काम के जो whatever is available in the world, that's called career guidance when we talk about it. When we talk about career counseling, it becomes individual to the child, because every child is different. Within our own house, two different children, they are different, so you cannot club them all together and say I'm doing a career counseling session. नहीं होता वो, गलत है. You have to do it separately, individual, because every child is different. So when you do it individually for a child, then that becomes career counseling. So we
Wow.
understand the world of the individual, world of the child. Once we understand the world of the child, then matching it with the world of work, that is called the career counseling, which is the perfect careers for them, where there is inner joy for them in doing it. When there is a perfect match where the child will not feel tired doing that, that's called career counseling.
Very nice. So career guidance is what we are doing today. That's in
Yes.
broad terms, giving certain idea, information, options about careers. And career counseling is when you do it individually, one-on-one. Very nice. And let me tell you, we have very interesting crowd which is joining in from Goa as well. Pushpa, that is Kushi from Goa, Sanjana from Goa, and Ratul from Goa. We have Seema from Hyderabad. Thank you all for joining in. Anyone who has not pitched in, told his name, say hello, hi to everybody who's joined in, and tell us where you are from. And very soon, as we go along, we'll be also opening for questions. So stay tuned, don't go away. We are going to have very, very interesting conversation. So let's start straight away. What kind of career should a child use? I've heard a term called like ikigai. It's a Japanese term. So how do we employ this in the choice of careers? Because the options are many, confusion is more, and everybody doesn't know what to do. And there's also a generational gap between what we know and what our children know and what's there in the market. So how do we bridge all these gaps together and find how should a child choose his career so that he gets a career of his choice, aptitude, and maybe attitude? You could
Yeah.
speak about that better.
So you mentioned the word about ikigai, and that is quite apt for very very apt for getting understanding the child's best suited career. And this word ikigai was introduced to me by my mentor, Dr. Chinu Agarwal, and we had a webinar on this. I think it was about a year and a half back. We had a webinar on this, not last year, almost a year and a half back. We had a very very beautiful webinar on the similar platform. So what I will do is I will show you a particular slide, trying to explain what is ikigai. All right. So that will be the first thing that I will show. So give me a second to pull that slide out. And yes. So I'm going to share, and then once you see it, you can let me know if you're able to see that.
Yes. So the ikigai slide is there. and
Yes.
just explain to our viewers
Yes.
what is Ikigai.
All right. So if you see that iki and gai are two words in Japanese, and what it means is a reason for being. In other words, it also means purpose of life. Reason for being is the literal translation, purpose of life is the actual meaning of it. Or ye aaya hai from this famous book called Ikigai, and it is written by these two people. But why did they write this? That is what we want to know. And to explain this, I'm going to show a map to the people here. And in the map, you can see China is on the west, Mongolia is on the north, Taiwan is on the south. You can see the Korean peninsula in between with both the Koreas shown there. You can see the Japanese archipelago on the east with various islands, and the southernmost island of Okinawa marked there. So let's get back to the story. Why did they write this book? They wrote this book because they were told that in the island of Okinawa, the people there live for more than 100 years of age on an average. So whatever they have, found out, they went there and found out how do they live, what do they eat, what do they, कैसे वो रहते हैं, हर चीज को they have put it in this book called Ikigai. One of the things that they have written in Ikigai is how people of Okinawa selected careers to remain happy. Since we are talking about careers to remain happy, I thought I shall share this Japanese wisdom with you guys in 4 circles. The first circle says, what are you good at? What is your talent? And the second circle says, what do you love to do? What is your interest? Now, to understand these two circles, I am introducing Amitabh Bachchan. Amitabh Bachchan का talent क्या हो सकता है? His God-given gift is his great voice. What does he love to do? He loves to act. Do Kaun Banega Crorepati kind of talk shows and TV shows. And when we put both these circles together, the common area is what is called the passion. So that is the reason that passion is very, very important when we look at understanding what is our career all about. And the third circle is what the world needs or demands. I can have any passion, but does the world require that? So this third circle is in the case of Amitabh Bachchan, his voice is needed even for Corona advertisements today. And the fourth circle is what will you be paid for? What is the money that you will get? So money is also becomes very important. Otherwise, you may have a lot of passion, but without that money, that passion may not be fulfilled. So when we look at these 4 circles, we are reminded of the mathematical Venn diagram, and the center part of this Venn diagram is called Ikigai. If we can find our Ikigai, that career will have a passion, that career will have a mission or purpose of life, that career will have a vocation or money, and that career will have a satisfying profession. When one of these are missing, then there is something missing in life. People generally look at vocation, paisa kahan pe, paisa kahan, but there is no passion in that. There is no purpose of mission in that. So that is where people get, many of us think that, some of the children tell me कि पैसा होने से काफी है, but नहीं है. We see that Bill Gates and so many other people are giving loads and loads of money away. अगर पैसा होने से काफी है, तो they would not have given it away. So Ikigai is what we need to find. And in career counseling, we do psychometric assessments to understand what is your Ikigai, which is the passion which you can convert to a profession where it fulfills all these things. So this is the concept of Ikigai. And if we can find out our Ikigai of our children, then, or your own life also, by only children, then we will be much more satisfied in life.
So what you're saying is passion and profession should converge, and that's where the best option would be. Great. And I'm sure some of our viewers have also read or heard about this. If you have heard about this concept, type in yes. And if you are able to, any one of our viewers have been able to find that middle path between the passion and profession, type in yes. And it would be good to know that some people are already out there. And I'm sure, Colonel Sajan, you are also in that the convergence of passion and profession. So as an army officer or ex-army officer, how did you come into this line of career counseling or career guidance? Can you just throw a brief, tell us briefly how this happened?
Yeah, very interesting to see somebody from Cairo is also joined in, and I'm already getting a message that few of them I've already understood that they are also living in their passion zone, ikigai zone. Very nice. Deepthi Mehta and Deepan Supreti and Harshavardhan, they're all in their ikigai. That's great. So your question about how did I get into career counseling is that I was, as you said, that I was in the armed forces for about 22, 23 years. And then when I came out, I got into corporate training. And somehow, somewhere in my life, I did find that training was quite suitable to me. In various occasions, when I was in the National Defense Academy, when I was in the Army Air Defense College, and later when I did my MBA, I got into the zone that whenever I used to take a class or I used to train people, it used to be, the feedback used to be quite good, and I used to enjoy that. So naturally gravitated towards the corporate training field. So I got myself certified, etc. So after I retired, I was working in the Middle East for about 4 years. We had a lot of interaction with schools, and one of the requirements came up is that there should be some career guidance, but it was only in the background. That was the time when my own child was going from 10th to 11th standard, and I asked him, beta, what would you want to do? And he did say that he wants to go and join the engineering. He wanted to become a robotics engineer. And so I gave him all the opportunities for him, like putting him through, we stay in Hyderabad, and so I put him through the FITG program. And somehow I found that this fellow was not enjoying. Till 10th standard, he was a very good student. And in 11th and 12th, I find that the load was on him was very heavy. This boy's body language had changed, and he was not really enjoying what he was doing. But he was doing it. मतलब कर रहा था अपनी मेहनत तो कर रहा था पूरा. That was a time when he came to, in 11th standard, I still let it go. I thought that ठीक है, as time passes, he will pick up speed. But when he came to 12th standard and when he didn't pick up speed, that was the time when I realized it's time to do some course correction. So I had a very good friend of mine, and she was, we did some training together. So I know her, and she was doing this career counseling, and she is the one who said that, okay, I'll help you for this. And when she did the career counseling, to my utter shocking surprise, she says, your son is not cut out to be an engineer. And I had hardly, it was month of September, October. September, October, 12th May, hardly any time for the boards. And I said, then what is he good at? And she says that he'll be very good in designing. And designing to हमने कभी सोचा नहीं था. Neither my child or none of us at family had ever thought of design as a career option. I'm talking about 2016 की बात है. And I said, okay. And then I left it. We just left it. Then I further researched about design, and I found it was a huge field, and the best examination of design is conducted by IIT Mumbai. So it was something to do with IITs also. So there was that pull. So I had downloaded the UCD examination papers and gave it to my son, who flatly refused. He says, so मेरे को तो जाना ही नहीं है इसमें. I said, okay. But I left the paper on his table. So somehow he must have picked it up and started solving. And he found it very interesting. और इतना इंटरेस्ट था कि वो बच्चे ने उसको खत्म करके he came to me and said, बहुत interesting paper है पापा. So I said, just look into it. I never sent him for any tuition. I never sent him for any design coaching, nothing. On his own, he went into the net and अपने आप उसने research किया, अपने आप उसने किया, and he wrote the examination. And there hardly any time because the design examinations are all coming in the month of January, right? So I had got this counseling done in October. November the application opened, I applied, and January में इसका exam था. So he must have hardly prepared for 2 to 3 months on his own. He passed that examination with a national ranking of 297. That was the first time it stuck me. बच्चा अगर अपना natural पसंदीदा चीज को पकड़ लेता है, there is no much requirement for any training also, because it comes naturally to the child. And then I looked back. Is this guy good in design? And then it all fell in place. This guy was always good in design. I never, as a father, I refused to see that. Whenever he used to have a project in school, he used to spend more time in decorating it and getting it done. There's a lot of stuff which he used to go and make. Usko ek orange de do, usko peel karke koi ek aadmi bana dega. That kind. Bachpan se karta tha. I thought that all children are like that. I just didn't take it as a separate gift for him. So he passed. He went into college. When he went into college, उस टाइम पे मेरे जो फ्रेंड्स जो बोलते थे मेरे को 5 लाख रुपए अपने पास होना चाहिए. क्यों? You have to take your child to one college, see the college, get him admitted, pay the fee. Then go to the next college, see the college, pay the fee. which is better than withdraw from the other college. ऐसा करते रहो, 5 लाख आपके पास होने चाहिए, because every college is different place, so you have to fly also. Sometimes dates are so close, you cannot go by any other means. But in my case, the entire thing, just one examination, one college, one admission, that's it. For me, it was a smooth sailing. And I thought that it's all because of this career counseling. I said, why not get into this field? Because it can help people. I got into the field not as, wanting to help people. I just thought that apne parivar mein bachchon ko kar lete hain, friends ko kar lete hain. So I started with my brother's son, my sister's daughter, and then a few of my classmates from school. I'm from Sainik school, so from सारे बच्चे एक ही level के थे, तो I got it into that. And then when I got the good feedback, and धीरे it went up, and everybody started referring their friends. Today I've done 1,700 counselings in 14 plus countries. Only last Sunday I did it in the 15th country, which I didn't even know there was a country like that existing in the Caribbean called Saint Martin.
Okay.
There is 2 parts in that country. One is Saint Martin, and the other one is Saint Martin. One is under Netherlands, one is under France. So that is how.
Right. Very interesting way. So usually many projects start at home and slowly build up, and that becomes a profession when you realize that that's your passion, just the way your son discovered. Very interesting. So we just have a few comments from our viewers. Let me just show it here. Bama says it surely takes an understanding and open-minded parent to explore and let the child explore. Kudos. Yeah, so that's a message for the parents. Don't keep ignoring what your kids are doing. Just see and observe what exactly they're doing, and many times you may actually discover certain things which you never really thought was the child's strength. So I think that's a key point, that keep observing your children more. And we also have lots of people joining in. Gaurav from Uttarakhand, Deepthi, Bubbly, and like you said, somebody from Cairo also. Hemari, thank you for joining. Aditi. Okay, let's move on to our next question. So let's come on to the real issue. That is, how do students choose their careers traditionally? But what is a real good scientific way of choosing a career, rather than just parents saying कि मेरा बच्चा engineer बनेगा या doctor बनेगा or kind of thing? So what is it? What do you suggest?
Normal way of selecting careers, we all know. All the parents sitting here in this session, they are aware that we look at people. People impress us. Lot of people. It won't be. I won't be joking if I say, when you joined the armed forces, that time Shah Rukh Khan used to come in a serial called Fauji, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember that.
And उसको देख के बहुत लोग impress हो गए थे. Everybody went and filled up the 27 rupees what do you call that form, NDA का form भरे लोगों ने, और बाकी IMA में join किए. They were very impressed with that serial. And like that, there are a lot of our models, in the sense that somebody who is a kind of पुलिस ऑफिसर को देख के पुलिस बनना है, आईएएस ऑफिसर को देख के आईएएस बनना है, आर्मी ऑफिसर्स को देख के उनकी चमक दमक वो सब देखते हैं, पीछे उसके मेहनत नहीं देखते, बट आउटर वाला चीज देख के. एंड मेनी चिल्ड्रन गेट इम्प्रेस्ड बाय आजकल द लेटेस्ट फैड व्हिच इज कमिंग, ऑनलाइन गेमर बनना है. जिस बच्चे से पूछो गेमर बनना है, दे हैव सीन 2 वीडियोस वेयर पीपल आर मेकिंग सम मनी बिकॉज ऑफ शोइंग सम हाउ टू प्ले गेम्स, एंड दे थिंक दैट they are going to do that gaming. So it may not be the right way to select careers, right? And the second one is parental profession makes a lot of impact on the children. Papa jiske khas karke were people who are doctors, Faujis, they're all the children generally tend to gravitate towards that side ki bhai doctor, because bade clinic established kar rakhe hain. The parents also want the children to continue their profession. Business people, they want their business to be run by the next generation. So all these things are very, very wrong way to select careers, because what is suitable for the parents may not be suitable for the child, although they are your own children, right? And the next thing which I can tell is about marks. Marks matter a lot in decision making. You can see schools offering only sciences to those people who have got more than 90%. It is not that essential that if you get 90% in science that you will be a good scientist. No. or if you get good marks in biology, you'll be a doctor. ऐसा तो नहीं है. But just because the marks which you get, the child gets in school is a factor of the teacher. If the teacher is good, that child will get good marks. It's as simple as that. Many a times I find child is very good, but he's not able to get marks because the teacher is not motivating enough, right? So it makes a lot of impact. And so marks से profession ढूंढना is a very wrong kind. Although हमारे देश में वही है, but I'm just saying that's a wrong way to look at the child marks.
So what is the
And
ideal way? What would you suggest? How should the parents or the students who are watching our show,
yeah,
how should they go about, and at what age should they
right.
go into career counseling?
So when we look at the first thing that we look at an ideal way to find a career is the personality of the child needs to be understood. Is the child an introvert? Is the child an extrovert? All these things matter a lot. Is the child people oriented person? Is a process oriented person? Is the child objective or is it more creative? So there are various personality preferences, and we need to understand that, right? I can tell you, if there is a extrovert child who's very comfortable dealing with people, they want to be with people, उसको जाके आप एक कंप्यूटर पकड़ा दो और बोलते पूरा दिन कोडिंग करता रहेगा, कितना दिन रहेगा? And I've seen it practically when a few years back, when one child came from his engineering, he came back and refused to go back. And the father brought him to me and we did the career counseling. And I found that the chap was not interested in engineering. He went because his father was an engineer. He insisted that engineering to karna hi karna hai. Uske baad kahin bhi chale jao. That was the kind of stand that father was having. But his child was not interested. And when we did the counseling, we found the child was a totally people-oriented person. मैंने उसको बोला BBA भेज दो. तो फिर उसको निकाल के BBA भेजा. एंड देन आफ्टर अ ईयर द फादर कॉल्स एंड सेज बहुत सही किया भाई, क्योंकि नाउ माय चाइल्ड इज रियली डूइंग वेल एंड ही इज इन द कॉलेज में भी वो क्या बोलते हैं उनके स्टूडेंट काउंसिल एंड अदर थिंग्स में बड़ा लीडर बन के अच्छा काम कर रहा है. बोलता है बहुत अच्छा किया. There was another child. I don't know to give the college's name, but the college was a very good college in South India, and the child was in the third year of engineering. Third year of engineering. So he refused to say that I don't want to do that. And I was saying, "Kya, ek hi to only one more year. Why don't you do that?" He says, "Uncle, मेरे को तो बिल्कुल पसंद नहीं है, and if I do it, I will have to do for another 7 years to complete this." And when I did the thing, I found that his was the IAS was coming very strong. Civil service was coming strong. I said, "Okay, shift," and he shifted. And today he's this year he's attempting the first year of civil services, right? So that is how this personality preferences. Then career interest. There are children who are who prefer outdoor oriented work, children who prefer investigative or research oriented work, people who prefer social kind of interacting with people kind of work. Then we have children who are managerial roles, kind of naturally they are leader manager kind of roles. Some children who are very systematic, they want only that accounting kind of work they can do very well. So ऐसे बहुत सारे career interest भी होते हैं. So how do you find out all these things? We do it through the psychometric assessments. Some of the parents, they naturally know what the children are good at, so if they can mix and match and they can understand. Otherwise, if there is a confusion, then you should do psychometric assessment. These psychometric assessments should be very valid instruments. There are many people who are doing this. Only thing is that they're not using validated and reliable instruments. For example, personality preferences, the MBTI, which you must have been knowing about. Each MBTI test costs 3,500 rupees, for $49 or $50. So we can get some psychometric assessments for even lesser, but then are they validated? Are they reliable? And if the child takes it now, will that test scores hold till later? These are the things that we need to look at. So when we have reliable instruments, we'll be able to get reliable data, and based on the data, reliably we can then put. Another thing what we look at is, we generally say go to the internet, fill up a few things, and they give a report, and we say psycho हो गया, career counseling हो गया. बच्चे से कोई पूछा नहीं, बच्चे को छोड़ देते हैं, because we are so internet savvy. click tick टक टक and report मिल गया, I have got a report. तुम्हारा बच्चे से कौन बात किया बताओ? When sometimes it may come top choice, but the child is not interested. He'll say, I don't want to do this. So you have to keep the child in the center of the whole thing. You have to ask your child, ultimately, It is that fellow who has to go and do the studies for the next 4 years or 6 years. So you have to keep that in the center. So personality assessment, career interest inventory, value systems, the child's preferences in the careers. Then of course we'll have to look at the future also कि भाई किसमें कितना पैसा मिलेगा वो भी देखना पड़ेगा, because that is also very important. Is this career, somebody say I'm very good in writing and I want to go into mass communication. Of course you can go into mass communication, but does that offer you a kind of career which is sustainable in the long run? Right? Are you capable of going and interviewing 110 different people and pushing your story through, especially in these times where every editor, every this thing is taking sides? So that objective reporting is no more there. So therefore we have to look at all these kind of things and then come to a conclusion what is the best choice for you. That is how we have to do. Otherwise it is not easy that कि अच्छा mark है तो चले जाओ.
So at what age and stage should this process be started? Should it be in
Yeah.
7th, 9th, 11th, or because see, there is a problem in the sense that there is a system that till 10th all the subjects are the same, and again after 10th then you have to choose a stream, and that stream would be obviously based on the choice of career. So that means much before that you need to start on this process. So if any parent is out there listening and whose children are in that zone, or even maybe they've crossed that zone, how should they approach, at what stage, age, and how?
like you rightly said, 10 से पहले हमको ये डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि once you have taken a kind of subjects, then it is very difficult to go back and take some other subject. So 10 से पहले तो ये डिसीजन लेना ही पड़ेगा. Now it is not that all the parents have taken this decision in 10th standard. There are some parents who have not taken this. So anytime you can do, first of all. But minimum age क्या है? Some people call me at 6th standard and say मेरा बच्चा 6th standard बताओ क्या करना है. Child is not mature enough. You have to allow the child to mature. और mature कब होएगा? 14-15 साल के बीच में उसको थोड़ा stability आता है. Till that time, allow the child to explore everything. Child says, I want to go for drawing, कहते भेजो. I want to do swimming, भेज दो. हर जगह. But you don't force anywhere. Wherever you can do, let them pick up whatever this thing. But once they come to 9th standard, till 8th standard, the studies are entirely different. Okay, वो गोटा परेड करके कर देंगे. But 9th के बाद concepts, if you don't understand, things become different. I've seen so many children up to 8th standard saying that I want to be a doctor. 9th में जैसे biology आके देख लेंगे बोलता I don't want to be a doctor. Right? So 9th standard is the crucial time where the child, when she does or he or she does that particular subjects, they get a fair bit of clarity as to what they like, what subjects they don't like. So what I would always suggest parents is allow the child to finish 9th standard before they go into 10th standard, do the counseling, so that in 10th standard itself, the child can be prepared to go for the otherwise. And if you don't want to trouble the child for the 10th boards, let the boards get over and then get the counseling done, so that the child is clear as to which subjects you should take. Now, if you don't want to do that also, then there is a default option. Default option है PCM ले लो, because it has got the maximum options. PCM लेने के बाद, PCM means physics, chemistry, maths ले लो, उसके बाद counseling करा लो 11th में, so that you know which out of the PCM which one you can go for. Because even if you take PCM, you can still go for humanities. Nobody is going to stop you. But you take humanities and want to go for engineering, it is not possible. So reverse is correct, but this way is not. Upward journey is not possible. So therefore, when in doubt, take PCM. If there is no doubt, let the child choose whatever they want, and otherwise do it as per the career counseling. Uske result ke basis pe you choose the thing and then totally aim and do it. That's what I would suggest.
Right. So 2-3 points you have highlighted.
Minimum age is 14 to 15 or 9th standard end mein.
9th standard onwards is where, I mean, and the other point is that, like you said, use the word explore. So there has to be discussion. It cannot be, okay, take the test today. The test shows ABC. Okay, you are going into ABC. It cannot be that way. I mean, it has to be a constant discussion. And I think as I see the world around me today, let's say 40 years back, it was much different. When we joined the army, there were very, very limited options. There are much more options, and there are different pathways today. People can switch careers even at a later stage into different ones. So it's not the end. I mean, it's not the end of the world that if a child goes into one stream in 11th or in graduation, then it's not that it's the only road he or she can take. There are many paths available. So the options should be open. The mind should be open to new possibilities, and should not think that if he has not got science or if he has not got this, then nothing can be done. And okay, so that's an interesting thing you shared, that ninth onwards is the process and discussion which must continue as they go along. What about the college going children? Should they also go into career counseling kind of a
See,
mode?
first and foremost, ये जो career counseling है, ये compulsory नहीं है. Not that everybody has to
Right,
do it. If a
right,
child, even in 9th and 10th and 11th, if the child is saying that I want to do this, and that is being matched with this performance in class, the child is absolutely focused. No need to trouble him with any career counseling. Not required at all. Everything is going perfectly. Don't trouble it. Suppose you want to clarify or confirm what the child is saying is what is exactly true, you can just do a confirmatory kind of this thing, do the assessments, and then say, okay, it's matching, so quite. If the child is having an aim but it is not performing well on ground, that means there is some mismatch there. Then to give clarity, you can do it. I'll give you an example. This December May, there was a child. His father is quite well off, having a multiple businesses, etc. The child मन में अपने back of the mind it was that I have to, मेरे को तो संभालना है, तो मेरे को ज़्यादा पढ़ाई करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, enjoy करूँगा. So he was getting in 10th standard, he is getting about 70% marks. When I asked him, what do you want to become? कहता कुछ भी चलेगा, anything, I'm not so clear, but then ठीक है. So when I did that counseling and I found that this child was very good in technical subjects, science was coming very strong, engineering, artificial intelligence, so many things were coming strong. It suddenly struck the child, yeah, I'm really interested in these things, yeah. So far I was just fooling around with myself. And then he didn't say anything to me. New Year's came. New Year ke ek hafte ke baad, the father called and says, I just want to wish you New Year's. I said, okay. He says, you told me to come back to you after 7 days, but I'll take some more time for deciding. I said, no problem. He said, I want to tell you or share you this thing. I said, yeah. He says that after the counseling, I don't know what happened. Suddenly, my son has become very focused in साइंस सब्जेक्ट्स. वो अपने आप मैथ्स का नोटबुक निकालता है, सम सॉल्व करता है और मेरे को आके बोलता है कि मैंने कर लिया. आई हैव नेवर सीन दिस काइंड ऑफ पैशन इन साइंस सब्जेक्ट्स और दिस थिंग, नेवर एवर सीन हिम कि व्हाट इज दिस चेंज. आई सेड नहीं, नाउ ही नोस व्हाट ही वांट्स टू डू. नाउ देयर इज अ फोकस. वंस द टारगेट इज क्लियर, यू नो हाउ टू शूट. If there's target दिखाई नहीं पड़ता है, आप आर्मी मैन हो, if you see your target, you are able to aim and shoot. If you can't see a target, where will you shoot? You have a very powerful rifle. What will be the use of that rifle if you cannot see the target? So the whole idea what we are trying to do is we are going to clear the aim or clear the focus for the child so that the child is able to see what he wants to do. Once he does it, he is able to charge himself and go for it. So this is the thing that we need to clear the focus for the child, clarity.
Right. So many times there is a clash between what parents think the child needs to do and the child thinks different, and there's a kind of a tussle or a friction over that. How do you suggest that? Let me ask inside our audience, is anyone going through that kind of a tussle where you as a parent or a child have certain goals or aim and it's clashing with somebody else's opinion? Is there anyone out there? Please post your experience so that we can share it. Yeah, so Sajan, how do we resolve this issue?
So get a career counseling done. That's what I'll say. So therefore there is a mediation there, because maybe the parent may be right, maybe the child may be right, but at least you will find a via media. In fact, when most of the career counseling, I insist that the parents are supposed to be with the child, so that it is more counseling for them rather than the child. Child is very clear. The parents is not very clear. So when you clear the parent knows, these are the things. And these are things I should not push my child into, because these are the things. Or I give resources for the child to develop that. Understood? So there may be some, for example, many a times I find the children's logical ability is not good. Their numerical ability is good, logical ability is not good. So you provide them logical ability resources so that they can improve their logical ability. Sometimes they are not organized. That is the only reason. Otherwise, they are brilliant, but they are not organized. The moment you bring it to their notice कि बेटा तुम्हारा organization skill lacking है, if you can improve that, you will find you will do very well. Children become organized. For children, it is very easy to pick up something at their age because they are not hardened like us or habituated like us. They can do it. The moment they have to see clarity, motivation comes from within. So therefore, I would suggest the parents where there is tussle. Yes, where tussle matlab there is a issue and you need somebody to tell which is the right direction. Otherwise, if both the parent and child are both in the same direction, the child's performance is very well. No need to trouble the child. Let the child go for it.
So this interesting point you've raised, that the the parents should also participate in this process of counseling and not just say, okay, जाके करके आ जाओ और हमें report दिखा देना, that kind of a thing. They should be an active participant in this process.
Not only counseling, the entire father, mother, the entire family. 10th, 11th और 12th की लड़ाई जो है सिर्फ बच्चे का नहीं है, पूरी परिवार का है. You cannot organize party after party in your house when the child is studying. So you will have to include everything so that those 3 years you need to ensure that the child's routine, the child's everything is supported properly. I'll give a small example. Many of us don't even give a good chair to a child to sit. Today, online classes, 8 घंटे उनको बैठना पड़ता है. Do you think a child is going to sit in a very dining chair and sit in that and say that okay, kar lo? Give a good chair, give a good atmosphere, give a proper table lamp, give proper nutritious food which will sustain the child's this thing. तो उससे पूछो उनको बीच में, make them important, and once you make them important, they know everybody is doing it for them. They need to come into the what should I say, the limelight, and then they will start working for it.
Right. Yeah, Sajan, we have some questions from the audience. Let me flash it. I'm sure you've seen these kind of questions. This is from Nishat, this is from Ambala. My child says that he knows what he doesn't want to do and is unaware of what he wants to do. How do we deal with this? And there's a similar question. Let me just flash that. I'm in class 10th. I'm not able to home on to a path for my future. So these are similar questions.
So both
Nishat and class 10th.
Yeah, both Nishat and Deepthi, both of you should look at getting yourself counseled, do a proper scientific career counseling, comprehensive one, so that you exactly know what are suited for you. So where the child says he doesn't want to know, what is more important is what you want to do, not what you don't want to do. Elimination process mein, then you come down to something, no, but you're not coming down. So you first should know what you want to do. That is more important. So for both of these cases, I would recommend that you should do a proper scientific career counseling.
Right. So I have also experienced this. When my daughter was in 8, she said, I know what I don't want to do. And she said, I don't want to go into engineering or MBBS. That's what I don't want to do. What I want to do, she discovered later when she was in 10. She went into hotel management. That's another story. But yes, it does happen. So we have, so what you are recommending to them is going for counseling, explore various options. And I always feel that
when you said explore, when you say explore, I want to tell, career counseling is not a diagnostic service. If somebody says, okay, these are the 3 things that you need to do, it is wrong. It is an exploratory journey. You need to explore each and every career with the child and ask her, do you want to do this? No. Okay, ignore. You want to do this? Yes. Explore it. So it's an exploratory journey. If somebody says these are the 3 careers you should do, it's incorrect. That is a diagnostic service. We are not a blood test nahi hai ki bhai ye exactly ye wala wo hai. It has to be an exploratory. Exploring is very, very important because there are so many careers where the child will not understand. उसके साथ उसको समझाओ कि भाई ये इसमें ये ऐसा है, ये इसलिए नहीं स्ट्रांग आ रहा है, ये आपने improve करना है. If the child is willing to improve, please let him take it. No, why should you stop the child from taking that career? If the child wants to do, it's not coming very strong, but the child has to be given that information that it is not coming strong because you're not outdoor oriented, you're not social with people, you don't like in that kind of stuff, and you need to become more organized. Then you go into the army. That kind of thing you can always give it.
Fantastic. So I hope you got some inputs, those who have asked these questions. I'm sure that confusion would be there. But I'm sure as we go along, these things will clear out. Things can be foggy, especially in the winter season. Sajan, can you tell us what are the various options available? You could highlight certain major paths and show us with the help of a slide as to what are the different options, what can people choose. It may help the students and as well as the parents. We like to do that.
Yeah. So what I will do is, so many options are there. I'll just flash some slides. All right. So then with the slide, I'll be able to, tell you more about what is those options are. So let me share that with you. Yeah, Vrishali, I have seen your this thing. After this, I will talk to you about that. So I'm going to share a slide. Are you able to see that, please?
Okay. Yeah, the slide is on now.
Yeah. So the new education policy stipulates that you do not have to take any particular, you can choose your subjects. But however in good intention that NEP is, schools cannot afford to do that because they have to ultimately come into these four buckets only. One odd subject here and there. I know there are a lot of schools who are giving humanities with maths. It's a very good thing. Humanities with maths also is very good. So that kind of sixth subject or fifth subject they can give additional. Otherwise, generally it comes to these four: PCM, PCB, commerce, and humanities. So what are the options generally for humanities? We'll talk first. So we have social work, we have law, so and we have fashion design, and we have the design courses. So social work may you have to work with NGOs, etc. So you can do BA sociology. Law may you have to do the CLAT examination and get into being a lawyer, being a judge, being a law school professor, being a corporate lawyer, and even the judge advocate general's branch in the army. Fashion design and design courses. Fashion design is the NIFT examination, National Institute of Fashion Technology. And the design courses, there are multiple design courses, whether it is product design, whether it is automotive design, industrial design, UI UX design, communication design, multimedia design, animation, gaming. So many design courses are there. So you can get into the examination is UCED, undergraduate common entrance examination for design, conducted by IIT Mumbai and National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad. These are the main national level exams. Of course, various private colleges have their own thing. You can become a journalism through bachelor's in journalism. You can go into management. These days, the IPMAT examination, the integrated program for management aptitude test, 5 IIMs have come out with it. And of course, you can go through the BBA, MBA program. That is also possible. Foreign language, Hyderabadis can think about English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad, School of Foreign Languages in JNU. That is supposed to be good for this. You can take up the BAMA programs. Then some of the children may not be very, very good in studies. You can look at the diploma option for them. After 10th, you take 3 years of diploma. After you finish the diploma, you can directly go into the second year of degree. महाराष्ट्र में बड़ा फेमस बड़ा पॉपुलर है ये डिप्लोमा कोर्सेज यू कैन लुक एट दैट ट्रैवल एंड टूरिज्म में जा सकते हो इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ ट्रैवल एंड टूर मैनेजमेंट इज देयर बीबीए एमबीए प्रोग्राम many people can go into become lab technicians, not a very high end job but still job to hai. DMLIT is the course. A lot of children can go into air hostesses. You can walk in interview after this thing, or you do bachelor's in hospitality management and get into air hostess. Then CS, CA, and CWA. Now, mostly it comes under commerce, but humanities children also can do. There is no restriction on that. But if your maths is good, then we have hotel management. Like your daughter has gone to hotel management, so there are various exams for that. And then do a proper normal BA graduation. You can join the armed forces. In fact, I think we'll keep a separate small topic for armed forces, how to join armed forces. So you can join army. Humanities children can join army. Now we come and you can become a teacher. So B.Ed Karlo and BA B.Ed or BSc B.Ed. Azim Premji University is supposed to be good for this. And then we have continuation of humanities. You can go into psychology, BA, MA, and PhD in psychology. You can get into game design and multimedia animation design, which I have already told you in the design pathways. Otherwise, you can also go through the BA in game design and BA in multimedia animation. That is also pathway is also available. Then some of the people who are very good in music, they can get into audio engineering. Photography you can do, but mostly should be as a passion. Otherwise, after post-graduation, you can go into photography. After graduation, you can go into photography. Medical transcription is about listening to the doctor's voice and converting them into this thing. But this is going slowly down today. That industry, because of better voice processing softwares, that industry is slightly going down. Event management, people who are very good in organizing events can get into event management. Computers, now you must be wondering what is computers doing under humanities, is because this is computer repair you can do, not computer IT but repair. Beautician, many people can get into this vocational course. Secretarial course people can do. People who are good at writing can get into blogging and content writing, so that is also equally okay. And then insurance agents we can get into. Then there is the Indian Technical Institute. There are 182 vocational courses. These are for the children who feel that they straight away want to get into a earning potential. So ITI is the best plumber se lekar electrician. Today we get any good guys. So that is the ITI. You can do immediately after 10th. You can get into that. So these are the various career options in humanities. Now we come to the commerce stream. Commerce stream, the most popular one is chartered accountant, company secretary, cost works accountant. You have to apply to their respective institutes and get into the 3 exams they have: CA, CS, foundation program, intermediate, and final paper. You can get into that. Then banking through the bank PO examination after doing BCom. If you want to go to private banking, then private, like ICICI or Axis Bank, then you can go into MBA and BFIA, Banking Finance Investment Analysis. You can become a CFA or a CFP and go into financial advisor, have your own financial management services. You can become an economist, BAMA Economics. Investment banking, one of the highest paid in the world. Actuarial science is in the insurance industry, where you do mathematical and statistical modeling to find out which insurance or which loan can be given to which kind of person or which organization based on their risk analysis. A very asset examination is the one. You become an actuary. Very few people pass it, and therefore the pay packages are extremely high. If some child is very good in maths and statistics, they should look at actuary if you have an investigative interest. And then we can go into BCA pathway. So this is another pathway for going into IT side with just maths. If you have maths or informational practices as your subject, you can go into BCA, not necessarily to have sciences. So you can go into Bachelor's of Computer Applications, then MCA, and then you can do MTech also if you want to. Plus all the subjects which come for humanities, these children can do. So commerce have got more options than humanities. Then we have the maximum option wala physics, chemistry, maths. So all the engineering, aeronautical, marine, automobile through the IIT JEE examination. This is the biggest examination. Also the state engineering examination, like Telangana has got TS MSET. Then we have pharmacy. So of course PCM people can go for pharmacy examination. Then we have agriculture, ICAR. This is agriculture engineering. This is PCM, no? So this is agriculture engineering, then IT engineering, all through IIT JEE. Architecture, designing buildings. So this comes from what we call that NATA examination, or the mains 2 examination. 2 examinations are there for architecture. So BArch and MArch. Then we have food processing, food technology. You can go through IIT JEE. You can go through pure sciences, BSc, MSc, PhD. You can go through BSc research through Indian Institute of Sciences. And then forestry. If you do PCM, you can go into forestry also. Later, Indian Forest Service, you can go. Commercial pilot requires physics and maths, so you can go for that. And Navy and Air Force. So Army requires any subject, doesn't matter, but Navy and Air Force requires physics, chemistry, maths. So these are the options for engineer PCM students. And then a lot of all the children, what they can do for commerce, the PCM people can do for commerce. Whatever subjects came for commerce or pathway came of commerce, PCM can do. And when commerce means humanities, so that means PCM has got the maximum number of options. Not only this, what we showed for commerce and what we showed for humanities. Now we come to the PCB stream, that is the biology stream. So medicine, dental, alternative medicine. Alternative medicine is Ayurveda, Unani, or homeopathy. And then veterinary. All these things requires you to do your NEET examination, because you have to go for this. Then we can go into biotech, clinical research, biologist, microbiology, all those things is scientific pathway, BSc, MSc, PhD. Then agriculture through the ICAR examination, BSc, MSc, agriculture. And then pharmacology. You can go into B Pharma, M Pharma, PhD in pharma, cutting edge research. And then we have dietitian, we have nursing, we have physiotherapy. These are all medical kind of stuff. Then lab technician once again. Clinical psychology. Not that clinical psychology, biology is compulsory, but biology is preferred subject for clinical psychology. So BMA and clinical psychology you can get into. Otherwise, anybody can do clinical psychology. And forestry also, of course, because there are a lot of subjects for forestry, for PCB. For example, botany, zoology, animal husbandry, forestry, agriculture, all these things people can go into the Indian Forest Service. and plus all the things which the humanities children are doing, they can get into that. So these are the options, various options when you ask. So I try to do it quickly due to lack of time without this thing. I hope it has been understood.
That was an amazing, explanation about various options which are available, quite exhaustive and very nicely displayed. So before we go ahead, I'm just posting the contact of Colonel Sajan in case anyone is interested. You'll find it. Just a minute. Let me just flash it here, and you can always connect to him and take advice and help as you may find it necessary. And also, it will be available. All this this entire video will be available on our Facebook Unbox, also on our YouTube Unbox. So please stay connected, and all this information you can always also refer to at a later stage as well. And before we go ahead, I would like to just request Sajan to take these questions which have come from our audience, and then we can move ahead. So let me flash these two questions from Hemali and Rushali. First, let me flash the question of Rushali.
Right. So Rushali, I've read this question a bit back, and I can tell you that if you have got a test done, a stream of interest. So which test have you done? First of all, the validity of the test you need to look at. And if you feel that that is very scientific and that is what it is good, very nice. Top two skills have come as mathematics and commerce, and the last one is design. But it's okay. But if she's good in design, if she's good in drawing, if she's very creative, and if you find the child can close her eyes and draw something, then design is as good as it. There is no issues as far as that one has to send it to her to maths. Find out what the child likes. So here it is where is a typical example what I explained earlier. Something may come in the report, but आपके बच्चे से पूछो क्या चाहिए, and then you match it with the child has got design करना है. Is she quite creative? Is she very intuitive? And how's her artistic skills? She knows how to draw, sketch, paint, right? You look at her activities. Is it all creative fields where she's able to do? I know children who can create things and they are very good. They कुछ देख देख के बनाते रहते हैं वो. तो वैसे वाले हैं तो let her go for design. It's good. And design maybe which design you should decide. Okay, it's not that all designs are falling into the same category, right? Automotive design is only for those people who are outdoorish kind of interest जिसका है, right? And similarly industrial design. So थोड़ा सा आप बोल रहे हैं ना PCM चाहिए, PCM लेके आप industrial design में जा सकते हो ना, आसानी से आप जा सकते हो. So those are the things you can look at. Now we look at the Hemali's this thing. So professional sports as a career option is a very, very good point. See how good your child is. If the child is really a prodigy, then there is no problem in sending the child to the professional sports. Who knows? He may be the next Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli or MS. But if he is not that great, then we need to have a backup option for sure. So in fact, I will say, have a main option and keep backup as the sports, because you can continue to keep playing sports. Nobody stops you from playing sports in your school and college. And if you're really going into that level, you will get picked up at the national level. That's fine. Otherwise, you should have a main option, fallback option. Why? Because ये sports person का shelf life बहुत कम होता है. 5 साल, 8 साल, उससे ज़्यादा टिकते नहीं है. Tell me which sport. Forget about Sunil Gavaskar and Sachin Tendulkar. That days are gone. Today, MS Dhoni is out. Virat Kohli is out, even though they are very good. So there is a age factor, shelf life. Shelf life के बाद वापस आके क्या करेंगे? So we need to have a backup option. So first plan for the backup option and keep the sports as the backup, not the main. But if the child is a prodigy, they are winning nationals after nationals, then definitely put all the effort in the child. You never know, the child can be the next Pulela
She said that it's golf.
About golf. So golf, Himalaya, I don't have to tell you about the chances about golf. It's quite expensive, as well as it continuously needs a lot of efforts. So golf, you know what is his handicap and how much he can do. Think about that and then go ahead. Right. Otherwise, we can also look at sports management. So sports management is related to the field. So you can do bachelor's and master's in sports management, get into the sports management field. while you keep doing your playing, etc. So that is something which we can look at.
Right.
Right.
We have one more question from Meenakshi. It says,
We are in a legal field. My son himself willing to go into this field. Earlier he was interested for PCM. Should we think of? No. See, I again told you, if the child is aligned to what you people want and he is willing to do it and his marks etc is aligned, then let him go ahead. It is his choice. Tomorrow he should not turn back and say आपने मेरे को force किया था. You just do a test if you want to, only if you feel there is a mismatch or you want a confirmatory. ये मैं इतना पैसा डाल रहा हूँ इसके लिए, तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल मेनी पेरेंट्स कम टू मी एंड से हम इसको नारायण चैतन्य में डालने वाले हैं, उसको बहुत प्रेशर आने वाला है. Is it correct or not? He may want to go, like my son wanted to go for engineering, and I put him also, and then he didn't ultimately land up there. So you can test it. So had I done this test for my son in 10th standard, I would have saved a lot of money. Right? In fact, I've written a blog. I would have saved 15 lakh rupees. I've written a blog. And what is that 15 lakh rupees ka calculation आप देख के मेरा blog में sajanspeaks.com.
that's very interesting. Okay, we have one more question. Flashing it. Option for a kid who's passionate about music.
Yes.
And
So a very nice question, Caroline. Music. Now, music again. I'm not against music or sports. Music, sports, art. Art means acting, and writing. These are the four things which the child should follow it as a passion. Be so good, and you put up your music in the YouTube. Let somebody pick you up. Right? While you keep something in the standby option. That would what I would say. Otherwise, you go to the A.R. Rahman Academy, KMMC in Chennai, and they will tell you whether the child has got the passion or not, and they will train you. And once you are in that academy, I'm sure that you'll get a fantastic opening, right? So that is as far as Caroline's this thing is concerned.
question by Premlata.
I am in class 12 PCB preparing for MNS, so it's a good career. MNS, military nursing service, is an officer. It's an officer cadre, beta. So it is definitely quite good. But see, MNS is nursing. You're not becoming a doctor. So what you can do is you can prepare for your NEET examination and attempt for becoming a doctor. If you become a doctor, very good. If you don't become a doctor, then if you want to still be in the nursing, in the field of medicine, you can go for MNS. Definitely.
Right. One more question is from our regular viewer, SRK. Says, children are getting carried away by the choice of their friends. So that's another interesting angle. My friend is doing this, that's what I want to do.
Arey, SRK Saab, this is not only this thing. I have counseled kids and they have gone and spoken to somebody and then say, no, usne aise bataya. See, the thing is that what is suitable for you is the question for that particular child. My friend may like it or may not like it. So, usko dekh ke mera zindagi mein nahi kar sakta. Unless my friend and I are clones, ideal, exactly same personality, exactly same interest, then maybe what they like will be my likes. Otherwise, it's better to individually ask the child, what is that you want to do, right? Otherwise, no two children are same.
Right.
If there's exactly carbon copy, yes, I can understand friends का पसंद मेरे को पसंद है, ठीक है ना? It cannot be like that. So we cannot say that कि friend अच्छा कर रहा है तो मैं भी चले जाऊँ. There are many people who go for this. This is what the first thing I told you. The wrong way to select careers is to look at somebody and select the careers. That may not work.
Okay. So we do have one or two more questions, but we'll take them a little later. Please stick on, Nitesh. Thank you for your question. I just want to about the army. So now that you're in the army, you were in the army. What would you say to the people? We don't have time for you to go through the entire, I think, presentation for the army selection. But briefly, can you say how is life in the army and what would you tell to the people? There are a lot of people who are willing to step into the army. What would you tell to them and those who are not decided?
So first and foremost, armed forces is a career, not a job. Remember this. There has to be a very clear distinction. Job is for money. Career is for passion. You have to really be passionate about the uniform, the outdoor oriented life, the adventurous life, if you want to get into the armed forces. Otherwise, you may be in for terrible disappointment. So don't look at it as a job. It is a career. You have to give your life for it, right? And who are the people who are quite adept, who can join armed forces? First of all, you have to be physically fit. You should be ready to be physically fit. If you're not physically fit now, it's okay, but you should be ready to be physically fit. Number one. Second, You should be very outdoor oriented. Not that you will be sitting and typing in a computer. No, total outdoor oriented kind of life, adventurous kind of life. If you like traveling, like to visit various places, armed forces, nothing better than this. Armed forces, right? You're not looking at too much of money will be sufficient for you to have a fantastic class 1 gazetted officer with all facilities. But if you think that tomorrow you can buy a car, then not, you may have to plan for 2 to 3 years or 4 years, right? So this kind of things, armed forces. And if you're looking at a life of integrity of leading values, life with full healthy kind of living, armed forces will give you a lot of opportunities. You will never. And the kind of facilities, somebody was saying that they play golf, for example, for playing golf, for doing horse riding, etc., and getting into the best facilities, armed forces can offer you everything, but they want 100% from you. And those of you who are here thinking about armed forces as a career, physics, chemistry, maths is a preferred subject after 10th standard if you want to go for the Navy and Air Force. Otherwise, Army, anybody can join. But even that, the NDA examination requires a lot of physics, chemistry, maths in it. So therefore, PCM will be a better choice for you to go and write the NDA examination. That is the first entry point. Second entry point is if you have written the JE examination, then you can go for the 10+2 technical entry scheme. So that is the second entry point after 12th. Now, suppose you have not gone after 12th, you can straight away go after your graduation. There are three ways to get into it. First is you do your graduation in engineering. In your third year, you should ensure that your marks are more than 70%. You can go into the technical graduate entry scheme. Next is you're not gone into engineering. You go and take up any BA, BBA, whatever it is. Then you have to write the CDSE examination and get into OTA, Officers Training Academy, Indian Military Academy, or Naval Academy, or Air Force Academy. But remember, for Air Force and Navy, you need to have physics, chemistry, maths compulsory till 12th standard. And for Navy, only engineers are permitted in graduation. The fifth way is NCC. Go to NCC, get your C certificate done. Once you've done your C certificate, then you will be able to go directly for SSB. But for Navy, again, you have to be an engineer.
Right. So that was very nicely illustrated. And now we have the option of girls joining NDA as well. So after 12th, girls can join NDA. And of course, after graduation, there are multiple streams where the girls can equally join and contribute to the armed forces. We will definitely take one or two more questions. But before that, I want to ask you a very interesting question, which I've got from a lot of viewers. What are these new age careers and startups? Because a lot of people want to get into startup. They're talking about joining startups. Some are even talking about having their own startups. So what would you say to them?
There are this question has got two parts. One is the new age careers and one is the startup wala, this thing. So first, let me talk about the new age or the futuristic kind of careers. So I have to again show you one particular slide. Otherwise, it becomes difficult for me to remember everything what I have to say. So let me share my screen and let us. I hope you are able to see that, sir.
Yeah, the screen is on.
Okay. So now, futuristic career options में दो चीजें हैं, doctors and nursing. Now many people ask me why, how come doctors and nursing आया है? Doctors and nursing will always be there. जब तक humanity है, तब तक doctors and nursing will be there. Of course, modern forms of medicine and medicine. Today also, you can see earlier we used to go and visit doctors. Today you don't have to visit doctors. Everything is app based. The doctor comes online, you tell him whatever it is, he uploads the prescription, you upload your test reports. Everything is that's how it takes place. The futuristic is there also. Then there are two categories because solar technology and electric vehicles. If you see, as per the Paris Agreement, 2030 tak all these normal kind of vehicles, your auto cycle vehicles, that is diesel and petrol vehicles, are supposed to be going off. So therefore, anybody who gets into solar tech and electric vehicles, they will have a lot of future in that. And then is important is data analytics. Today, already data analytics is in the top billing or top demand kind of thing. So people who are good in maths and who have a very keen investigative interest, they could get into data analytics. Then we have artificial intelligence. So computer science ke zariye, you can get into artificial intelligence. It's very modern and you all know what it is all about. And then we have Internet of Things. आजकल कौन से घर में नहीं है जो स्मार्टफोन, स्मार्ट वॉचेस, smart TVs. Then we have smart cars. Your MG Hector is a smart car. So all these are communicating with each other through the internet. You go to Amazon, buy a bulb, Helia. You can switch on from your mobile phone. These days, वो fan पंखे भी आ गए हैं, smart fans, Atomberg fans. You must have seen the advertisements. All these are Internet of Things. So science students, especially engineering, you can get into Internet of Things. Then we have blockchain. Bitcoin, the technology behind Bitcoin is blockchain. So you can get into blockchain, very futuristic. In fact, today's budget, if you see, Nirmala Sitaraman, our finance minister, has said that digital currency using blockchain is going to come up for the next year. And then we have robotics. So it's very futuristic. Many of you must have seen the robotics vacuum cleaner, which have entered your house during the lockdown, right? So future is there. Then UI UX design, user interface, user experience. This is the design students, humanities students can look at it. Quite futuristic, a lot of how the software and this thing interacts with you. Then we have info security. Today, info security in IT, this thing, data security is quite popular, ethical hacking, etc. And highest pay packages. And it's going to be remaining like that. And of course, psychologists. Now, somebody will say, how is psychology fitting into it? We are so much involved in, the gadgets that we have forgotten that we are human beings. So psychologists are required to get you back to normal things. So that is as far as the futuristic. But what I would have to say is, whatever you take up, it doesn't matter that it has to be future, just do it well. That is what my work is. Wherever you are, do it exceptionally well, that you become the top outlier of it. So
Right.
with that,
So the passion and the profession should merge, like you said. Whatever you're doing, do it with a lot of passion, so that people say that, okay, he's a guy to go to for this particular expertise.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
right.
the second thing which you asked me about was the startup. See, startups are all fine. You are being an entrepreneur. Startup is, what is the problem that you are solving? That problem statement has to be very clear. What is the problem that you're solving? Are people others also solving this problem? What is the so differentiating about you that your problem will be? For example, that Paytm guy, what did he solve? He solved the problem of chutta. लोगों के पास चुट्टा नहीं है, and he's become a billionaire overnight. What is the problem that your unique problem that your solution is going to solve? That is the question. So if you have a solution for that such a problem, the problem statement is clear, you can make money in startups, or you can become very successful. Many people have, the problem is not defined, they want to be a startup, and they try, and then I find, because I was working with here in Hyderabad mein tea hub hai. A lot of startups were there. I was interacting with a lot of people because I was working with an organization which used to incubate all these guys. So I used to closely watch them. They're all working, very hardworking children, but again the problem was not clear, or it was a solution which everybody can give, or everybody can scale up together. Understood? अभी देखो पेटीएम उसने लेके आया, he was a unicorn, and suddenly phone pay also has come, Google Pay has also come, so many other pays are coming alongside, Amazon Pay has come. अब देखो उसका एक जो यूनिकॉर्न था उसका, so but he started it off, so he has got the first mover advantage, and he's massively invested, so therefore it is good, so he's doing well. So similarly, what is that problem that you can solve in minutes, right?
Right. Right. Should I take a question from the audience?
Yeah,
So this is a
please.
question from Nitish.
Uh-huh.
Confused between MTech and MBA. So should he take the services of career counseling?
Yeah. Nitesh, this is something which I do very often for children who have completed the graduation. They do not know whether they want to go, which one to. Especially the month of October, November, I'm busy with the civil services students who have put in 2 years of their this thing, attempted twice and then not made it. Then it opens their eyes. Oh, what else can I do? Right? So I help a lot of graduates and postgraduates to find out their passion so that they can start preparing for it. So you can do that. Angad Dala is also asking a question. Yeah. Can I join
Air Force? Have taken NCC.
So, Angad, there are two things. One, you have to have physics, chemistry, maths after 10th standard. Right? So that is the first requirement. Second requirement is you should have had a NCC. Which NCC? C certificate. So C certificate leke, you can get into the Air Force. That you have to be in Air Force wing. Yeah.
NCC C certificate and should be in the Air Force wing. That's the answer. And PCM, of course, after 10th.
That's the important. Yeah.
Right. So we are coming towards the close of the program, Sajan. Any parting words for the students, for the parents? Because career is a big confusion from the time students come out, like you said, 9th and 10th, and even later on. So some few words of advice, what they should do, what they should not do, just to sum up whatever we have discussed. And
I have
I'll
only
also be
one.
flashing, just a minute, I'll also be flashing the number of the contact of Sajan. So anyone who wants to get in touch, please feel free to get in touch. Yeah, please continue.
So what I have to say is only one word, which we started off this session with: find your ikigai. All right. If you can find your ikigai, then that career will be superb for you, because that is not only having a passion, it also has money, it also has a purpose, because everybody, we need a purpose of life, and it will have a satisfying profession. So find your ikigai. The earliest you find, the better it is. And be in an exploratory journey. You don't have to be, stuck to something. You find something interesting, explore that. Keep your options open, right? When in doubt, take PCM. It's like not paracetamol, okay? It is physics, chemistry, maths, and then get a career counseling done if there is any doubts, and then whatever you're doing it, do it fully well. That means you have to be really getting into it deeply, so that you become the best. There is a book I read about outlier. Outlier करके एक book है, Malcolm Gladwell का है. It says if you do something for 10,000 hours, you become an expert in the world, which means I've also read it somewhere else that if you learn about something for 1 hour a day, only 1 hour a day, for the next 5 years, you will become an expert in that field. And so that is almost 15,000 hours as per that fellow. But as per Malcolm Gladwell in his book called Outlier, he says if you can do 10,000 hours something, you will be an expert in that field in the world. So that should be your aim: 10,000 hours, right? And I was just looking back, and how many hours have I done for career counseling? And I looked at it, I'm still halfway mark only. I need to go.
Right, right.
Been
Well, I
doing.
think you're doing a fabulous job already. And I hope that by the time you reach 10,000, you'll be a global expert in this field.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. That passion has to drive. And I've seen this. If you're passionate about something, there's a lot of energy, there is a lot of interest, and you never get tired. So when you have these things, you'll continue to go into that field very deeply.
So do
And then
what you
you'll
love and love what you do.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
That's the thing which I've also been following all the time. Do what you love what you do, and keep the passion intact, energy intact at whatever age and stage. A lot of people discover new careers even after reaching the 30s and maybe even 40s. So there is no limit of at what point you may actually strike your ikigai.
Correct. That's right.
Okay. I think with this, we'll close today's session. Thank you so much, Col Sajan, for joining in and giving your valuable advice to so many students and parents who have been watching our show, and many others who are going to watch this show. This is a very, very important topic which we need to keep having discussions and, like you said, explorations. And I'm sure your words of advice will add great value and great input to various people who are watching this program to help the parents and students find a path for themselves. Thank you so much.